Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, welcome to my channel. I am so excited to have you. If you are returning, thank you for returning after my very long break. In my last video I did mention that I was moving at the end of February, and if you did watch that video you will notice that the background is a little different. We did end up moving and we are finally settled into our new home. I'm so excited. As you can see in the background, I have a bookshelf now. At the old house, my books were just wherever they could find a home. So here I do have a dedicated book space, and I am so excited for that. The bookshelf is not organized right now. I kind of just threw everything up there. The only organization I have going on right now is paperbacks and hardcovers are together, but that's about it. So in a future video, I will definitely have you guys come along with me as I figure out how I want to organize my books. But with that, as we were moving, I was going through my books and was thinking, what do I want to keep? What do I want to discard? And I have a bag of books right now, and literally it is in my bag of books. And they are books I want to unhaul, either because I liked them but didn't love them enough to keep them, or I looked at them and had no attachment. I had kept them for years and never read them, so someone else might be in a better place to read them than I am right now. I usually try to unhaul my books at a secondhand bookstore and then pick up my next reads from the secondhand bookstore. That's usually how I go about it. And so today I was thinking, well, why not take you guys along with me to the secondhand bookstore, see if we find anything, take all of these books, and then whatever the secondhand bookstore doesn't take, we could take to the little free library in my area. So I'm so excited to go through my unhaul with you guys. I was thinking I could just kind of explain the books that I'm unhauling, why I'm unhauling them, if I liked them, didn't like them, didn't even read them, and then we could go to the bookstore together. So without further ado, welcome back to my comeback video a couple months later since my last one. Thanks for being here. Okay, so the books that I'm going to show you now are in no particular order. They're kind of just in the order that I threw them into this bag. First, we are starting off with End of Story by A.J. Finn. I think this might be the only book in here that I did not read. I really want to read every book on my bookshelf, and while I know that that is a big feat, I have, I think, upwards of 70 books on my bookshelf, and I'm currently at 11 for this year. It'll take me a while to get through the books I currently own, and that's not even including any new books that I pick up, new releases, etc. But this one has been sitting on my bookshelf since a couple months after it came out, which was a couple years ago. I have no desire to read this. It didn't get good reviews. While I will say, not always do I agree with the popular reviews. I mean, there are books that everyone probably feels that way on, but I don't know. I had zero attachment to this book. Never ever have I wanted to pick it up since I got it. I got this one at a secondhand bookstore a couple months, like I said, after it came out, because I read The Woman in the Window by him and I enjoyed that. But I don't know what it was about this one, so I'm hoping someone else that is into this book or wants to pick up this book is going to find this book at the secondhand bookstore. Better for them than me. So the next book that I am unhauling is The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. I have my Goodreads. I gave it 3 stars. I said it was fine for what it was, but nothing too exciting. I remember enjoying the ending. I thought that it was fast-paced towards the end, but it was very much so a classic whodunit. I don't know. It wasn't anything exciting for me, so I don't feel the need to keep it. And also, just as a stylistic point, I don't love baby books. This is a baby book. I feel like they're really hard to keep open, flip through. Like I said, I get these at secondhand stores, so that's where I got this one. But yeah, it's gonna go back now. Okay, so if you watched, I think it was maybe my last video, this was on my TBR, and I was dreading reading it. I didn't think I was going to like it at all. I was like, I'm just gonna get it off my shelf, get the book of the month credit for my end of the year challenge, and be on my way. I literally loved this book. I ate this book up. The sequel comes out in like a week or 2, I think, and I am going to pick it up immediately. I loved this book. I don't know what it was about it, if it was the love story, if it was the situation that they found themselves in. everything about this book, the banter. I loved this book. I loved this book. And the edges are cool. The only reason I'm really discarding this book is I think I want to get a matching set whenever the other one comes out, and I heard that Book of the Month is not doing the second book in the series, so they wouldn't match, and I'm rather particular about that, so I think I will get a matching set when the second one comes out. But I loved this book. I just pulled it up on my Goodreads. I gave it 4.5 stars. I think the only thing keeping it from 5 was that for a 5-star, it has to be unputdownable. It has to be, I sat in my chair for 6 hours and did not put this book down. And while I felt that way at times, it took me a minute to get there. But 4.5 from me. I recommend this book, and the second one is coming out soon. So if you're gonna read it soon. So the next book that I am unhauling is Buckeye by Patrick Ryan. I believe this was my first read of 2026. No, it was my second read of 2026. I gave this 5 stars. This was phenomenal. I buddy read this with one of my Bookstagram girlies, and we both loved it. The characters were so in depth, you were so attached to them, you needed to know where their story went and how their lives progressed. I thought it was beautifully written, and the only reason I'm unhauling this book is because it is so beautiful. I want other people to read it. Maybe one day I will pick up another copy. I also don't care for the Book of the Month copies as much. I know people that collect them and that is their thing, and so I kind of want to support them by taking these to secondhand bookstores, little free libraries, people that collect Book of the Month. I'm kind of the opposite. I'd rather my bookshelves be uniform, and since very little of my books are Book of the Month, I'd prefer for all of my books to not be. So I just want to pass this on to someone else who will love this book just as much as I did. So the next book that I read and am unhauling is The 3 Lives of Kate K by Kate Fagan. This was just on my TBR from last video. A lot of these are my February reads. It seems like a lot of these are panning out to be from my last video's TBR. I had no expectations on this book. Like I said last time, I think I picked this up just at the Book of the Month sale, at Barnes & Noble's sale. I didn't like it. I gave it 2.5 stars. That's me being generous. I thought it was dragging on. I did not like the main character. Everyone was obsessed with her. I don't understand why, and so I think that was kind of the whole thing for me, is I don't like her, so why do all of these people like her? She was very insufferable. She was very selfish. I don't know. I didn't think she had very many redeeming qualities. Maybe I'm alone in that, but it didn't have fantastic reviews, so I think a lot of people agree with me, but that's the main reason why I'm unhauling this book. I just didn't really like it. So, goodbye, Kate K. Okay, the next book that I am unhauling is Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. Everyone loved this book, and so this is going back to when I said, you know, there are going to be outliers, you don't agree with the reviews. I'm like this about this book, but in the opposite way, because everyone is obsessed with this book, and while I gave it 4 stars initially, I think I would give it a little less now, maybe a 3.5, depending on my mood, maybe a 3, but ultimately I thought it was unputdownable for the last 40 or 50 pages. Everything else I was slightly bored and considering not finishing this book. And while I hate not finishing, I did not. I'm glad I didn't, because the end was good. I don't really get the entire hype. I thought it was very slow. I thought, and maybe I don't get it. That could be it. Maybe it was deeper than what I could fathom in my head. But all of the chapters of the sun talking about plants and seeds, I don't know. It wasn't for me. While, like I said, the end redeemed it, I will put this out into the world since everyone is loving this book, and someone else will enjoy it probably more than I did. So next in this pile I had Best Offer Wins. A friend lent me this book, so I'm not unhauling it, but it was in here, so I'm going to give you my review anyways. I loved this book. I read it while we were going through the house process, like I told you guys in the last video, and I don't know if it's just what I needed at the time, but this was so fun. It was so messy. The main character was so unhinged, but it was like a fun thriller, and I don't have much else to say. If this was my book, I would unhaul it because, I mean, it was a fun thriller, but I have no attachment to it. But it was very good, and like I said, I gave it 4.5 stars. I would recommend, and it was a fun read to read while I was also going through that housing market. So next, I have The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Ali Carter. I read this during Christmas time at the end of last year. I rated it 3.5 stars. I thought it was fun. I thought it was very, you know, Knives Out-y in the sense of kind of a fun mystery. There was a touch of romance in here. The romance felt very forced. It did not feel sincere at all. I just didn't really like the romance aspect, but the fun Knives Out mystery part of the book was fun. So I have no sentimental attachment to this, and I doubt secondhand bookstore is going to take this book in May, given it is a holiday crime romance. But we'll see. You guys will be coming with me to see what they take and what they don't, and what will then go into a little free library. So here's another book that is very atmospheric, very holiday driven, The Book of Witching by C.J. Cook. Like I said about The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year, not sure if the secondhand bookstore is going to take this, given this is more of a Halloween read. You never know. But I remember enjoying this book. I think I gave it, let's see. I gave it 4 stars. I said I enjoyed it. It was pretty in-depth. I just didn't have that wow factor to give me 5 stars, but I enjoyed it. It kept me interested. Talked a lot about, you know, the witch trials, which it's always fun to learn while you read too, learning in a fun way. No attachment to this book. I thought it was good. I think someone else will enjoy it. Will someone take this now in the middle of May? Probably not, but maybe. Some people might not care about atmosphere when they read. We'll see. Okay. The last book that I am unhauling today was my first read of 2026, and I was super bummed about it. 2.5 stars. Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I was so excited to read this one. I thought that I liked the YA fantasy. That's kind of why I picked this one up. It sounded really fun. Carnival, games, mystery, magic. I thought this was very poorly done. This was quite repetitive and could have been much shorter had the female main character not had the same thought in every single chapter. The last 100 pages kept me hooked, but I considered DNFing multiple times. Yeah, this is a series. I will not be continuing on with the series. It is cool though. I got this one also at a secondhand bookstore. It's usually where I get all my books. It is a signed book, so someone who is a big Stephanie Garber fan will hopefully be very excited, but that's not me, so someone else will have their excitement if and when they come across this book. So that is all of the books that I'm unhauling today. So I will meet you at the bookstore and see what books they will take and what books will be donated to the little free library after the fact. Okay guys, we are back from the secondhand bookstore. They took some, left some, but that makes for a fun day because now we have some books to take over to the little free libraries. I'll show you guys just briefly what we will be putting in the little free libraries. We're not all surprised with this outcome, honestly. So the first book they did not keep was The Paris Apartment. I'm not that surprised. This is not in the best condition. It's obviously a pretty old book. This is a pretty old title. I did get it used from this same store a couple months ago. Yeah, you could see me and the other owners were not all too kind to this one, but in my defense, and probably in theirs too, baby books are really hard to read without cracking the spine, just because they're so small and there's so many pages. But yeah, this one's not all that surprising. I have noticed a trend that usually they do not take books that I've gotten from them in the past for whatever reason, and they write up at the top if they're used what their new price is, so I think that's how they can kind of tell that they are from the store, but that's okay. To the little free library this one goes. Similarly, they didn't take Caraval. This one was also a used one from the store. I'm a little surprised since it is a signed special edition, I guess you could call it, but they didn't want it. That's okay. Someone will be very excited to see this one in the little free library. They did not take End of Story. I've asked in the past why they don't take some titles, and they usually say either they're in bad condition or they're not hot titles. This one's in fine condition, so I think it's just because this book's not all that popular. That's probably why they didn't feel the need to keep it on their shelf, and me too. So to the little free library this one goes. And then last but not least, not surprised at all that we walked out of here with the 2 seasonal books. Halloween and Christmas will be here before we know it. It's already May. Oh my gosh, I don't know how it is, but I'm not surprised. These would have probably been taken had we been closer to the holidays, but alas, to the little free library all of these books go. So let's go and little free library hunt and make someone's day with these books. We are home and the bag of books is much lighter than it was when we left the house. We ended up leaving the house with 9 books, 4 of which were taken by the secondhand bookstore and 5 of which were donated to a couple of little free libraries in my area. I think we did pretty good today. And then with those 4 books that the secondhand bookstore took, I got a store credit for those, and I ended up spending that entire store credit, which is great because we left the house with 9 books and ended up coming home with 2. So I'd say that was a good unhaul. Got 7 books down. I guess technically 10 books because the book that I borrowed from my friend is also going back to my friend tomorrow. So let's call it an even 8. We're 8 books down, and I got 2 highly anticipated reads. Both of these are used copies. I try to get used copies of books, and then if I absolutely love them, I will donate these ones and then get a trophy copy. We'll see. I get worried that I won't like books, so I want to test drive them before I buy them fully. Kind of like a car, I guess. So anyways, I'm gonna stop rambling. I got 4 Winds by Kristen Hanna. There's not much I need to say about this. Everyone who loves to read knows who Kristen Hanna is and knows how amazing her work is. So I am so excited to get to this one. And then I also got Hellbent. I struggled to find this actually because some of the sections in this bookstore are paperback and then hardcovers elsewhere, but some of them have them all together. So I looked in what I thought was everything for the science fiction section. That's where these books are kept, in the science fiction section. I thought it was all together, and I saw a bunch of copies of Ninth House, but I saw none of Hellbent. And then I was walking through, and then I noticed that there was the difference between the paperback and the hardcovers, so ended up finding this little hidden gem. I'm so excited to pick this one up. This will probably be my next read since I just finished Ninth House not that long ago, and I loved it. And the 3rd one in this series comes out this year, which I didn't know that when I started it. I just wanted to read it because it had been on my highly anticipated reads list for the last couple months. So I'm really excited for both of these books. I think they were great additions to the library without spending any of my money, just trade money. So I'd say this was a successful book day. So thank you so much for coming along on this journey with me. Thank you for being here. I know that I was gone for a little bit. the moving process was a lot, and now the last big milestone in the near future is I'm getting married next week. So hopefully after all of the festivities for that are done, I will be back on my regularly scheduled uploading and posting on Instagram. If you want to follow me on Instagram, on Fable, on Goodreads, everything will be linked below. Let's stay in touch, let's chit chat, and if I don't see you on those platforms, hopefully I see you in my next video. Bye!